Shalom, I give all honor, glory, and praises to Yahweh, by Hashem, Yahushai, by Hashem, Rakakodash. I give double honors to our apostles and elders, great millstone. Salutations to all you sincere brothers pushing this word out across the four corners of the earth. This lesson is entitled, These Should Hate the Whore. And this is an article from BusinessInsider.com. And the title says, the United States main allies are abandoning Trump over his dangerous escalation with Iran. This was published on January the 3rd, 2020. As you know, President Donald Trump ordered a hit out on Iranian Major General Qasem Soleimani, and this happened on January the 2nd, 2020. So after America made this hit, led by Donald Trump, these European allies of America are feeling some type of way now. They feel like you didn't even notify us or give us a heads up or have any type of counsel that you was going to order a hit out on this Iranian Major General. And as right here you can see from Business Insider, it says the U.S. European allies on Friday warned against further escalation with Iran after President Donald Trump ordered the assassination of Iranian Major General Qasem Soleimani. The UK said that further conflict is in none of our interests. Germany also warned of a dangerous escalation. The U.S. government decided to go ahead with the airstrike late Thursday without informing its European partners, angered some allies, BuzzFeed News reported. The purpose of having allies is that we can surprise our enemies and not each other. Tom Tugendhat, the chairman of the UK Parliament's Foreign Affairs Committee, told the BBC, and rightfully so, because Trump just went ahead and did these type of moves and didn't even inform his so-called allies. But at the same time, through the spirit, we know that this is Yahweh Bashem Shai. He's controlling the minds of the kings, whithersoever he will. So it's not by Trump just doing this by his own sole purpose. This is fulfilling the word of Yahweh Bashem Shai. And that leads me to Isaiah, the 46th chapter and the 10th verse. Declaring the end from the beginning and from ancient times the things that are not yet done, saying, my counsel should stand, and I will do all my pleasure. So this is Yahweh speaking in great boldness as he can, saying his counsel should stand. A part of the Heavenly Father's counsel, it goes into his purpose, his advice, which is going to fulfilling his word, aka fulfilling biblical prophecy. So his counsel is going to stand, and Yahweh, through his son Yahweh Shai, is going to do all his pleasure. And that leads me to Revelation, the 17th chapter and the 16th verse. And the 10 horns which thou sawest upon the beast. The 10 horns is going to the EU, known as the European Union. And the beast is going to NATO, which is North Atlantic Treaty Organization. These should hate the whore. And the whore is referencing America, aka Babylon the Great. And how you know that America is that whore? Because America goes by these different philosophies, democracies, and ideologies as do as thou wilt. Pretty much you could be a homosexual here if you want to. You can go into bestiality. You can be a transgender. You know, you can practice witchcraft. You can do anything that you want. And they push that vibration to these other nations. And they sleeping with these other nations through all these different philosophies, ideologies, and type of democracy that they are pushing. And they making these other nations accept their Babylonian wine. And they drinking it now. So in the 10 horns which thou sawest upon the beast, these shall hate the whore, and shall make her desolate and naked, and shall eat her flesh and burn her with fire. So all these different European nations and NATO nations are going to go against America pretty soon. And we can see the starting stages of that right now, because they are furious about America not giving them a heads up about ordering this hit on Iranian Major General. It says right here that it shall make her desolate and naked. And so this is going back to the Isaiah 46th chapter, how the Most High said his counsel should stand, because all these different nations, the Most High is going to line them up, and they're going to go to known as the so-called Middle East, and they go into the mountain of truths, which is known as Armageddon according to the scriptures. He's going to get all these nations together, and they're going to go to war, and they're going to attack America. But as we can see from the previous years, you know, it seems like these allies are cool with America. But Yahweh Bashem Shai, he's going to set that stumbling block between America and these different allies of America. And that's how you know it's going to go into this World War III. So in the 10 horns which thou sawest upon the beast, these shall hate the whore, and shall make her desolate and naked, and shall eat her flesh and burn her with fire. And that fire is going to that nuclear fire, those nukes, those ICBMs that we see constantly on the news daily. And this is Nahum, the 3rd chapter, and the 1st verse. Woe to the bloody city! It is all full of lies and robbery. The prey depart not. And that bloody city is going to America, aka Babylon the Great. So devastation, destruction to that bloody city, America, is all full of lies and robbery. And the main thing that it lied upon is the true representation of the Heavenly Father and His only begotten Son, going to the angels, going to His chosen people. You know, this whole land is full of lies and robbery because they lied on the Bible first and foremost. They got these other nations and also these Americans as well, believing that the Heavenly Father and His only begotten Son, the angels and the chosen people of the Heavenly Father are so-called Caucasians. You know, there's just nothing but lies and full of robbery. And just to fast forward to this article, how it's all full of lies and robbery, Trump stated in his speech today, and he said that this Iranian major general is the #1 terrorist on this earth. And he stated how this Iranian major general tried to make plots on attacking American diplomats. So that's how America does. They push this crap out and these lies out to the media, and they know how the people are going to believe everything that it says on TV. So Trump is trying to make America feel like it's the victim to the world, so people can feel sorry for him and say, okay, I see why Trump ordered a hit on this Iranian major general. But that's not the case, because that's how this witchcraft is led by this so-called white man with his lies and all his witchcraft that he pushes out there on his media, which is known as the TV. And so he have these different people believing it across the world, thinking that America is right. So it's all full of lies and robbery. And we already know how America got stolen from the so-called Native Americans, the so-called Seminole Indians, and the so-called Mexican Indians, you know, through deceit or lies. So the prey departed not. And who are the prey? You Israelites, you so-called Negroes, Latinos, Hispanics, and Native Americans. So I'm going to jump down to the 4th verse. Because of the multitude of the whoredoms of the well-favored harlot, the mistress of witchcrafts, that selling nations through her whoredoms and families through her witchcrafts. So that's how America does with their different ideologies, philosophies, and different democracies. They sell it nations through their different witchcrafts. And all these different philosophies of America is nothing but satanic. It's all adverse to the ways of Yahweh Bashem Shai. But they sell it that wine or their philosophy to these other nations. That's why you see these other nations are mimicking the ways of America, far as these different 8 to 5 or 9 to 5 jobs. They're wearing suits and ties now. You know, they are welcoming homosexuality or transgenderism because of the ways of America, that well-favored harlot. That's how you know that America is mentioned in the scriptures. Because America is only fulfilling this type of prophecy right here. And America only has that type of influence on the world, not like these other nations. Verse 5, because I am against thee, said the Lord of hosts, and I will discover thy skirts upon thy face, and I will show the nations thy nakedness. And how is Yahweh Bashem Shai doing that? By having his prophets out there fulfilling his word, by bringing the truth out the scriptures. Then these other nations know who Esau is according to the Bible, which are the so-called Caucasians today. Then these other nations know who they are according to the Bible. Let the world know who we are according to the Bible. Let them know what's the future judgment of America, which is nothing but desolation and destruction. Behold, I am against thee, said the Lord of hosts, and I will discover thy skirts upon thy face, and I will show the nations thy nakedness, and the kingdoms thy shame. And you also have these so-called whistleblowers of Esau in these other nations are lifting up that skirt as well. They fulfilling the word of Yahweh Bashem Shai too. And I will cast abominable filth upon thee, and make thee vile, and will set thee as a gazing stock. So pretty soon America's going to be set as a gazing stock, because America's going to be destroyed very soon. That's why Yahweh Bashem Shai, he's lining these different things up, having Trump order this hit on this Iranian major general, and now America's allies are furious about this situation, and it's going to cause a lot of conflict and different issues with America and the allies of America. And this is going to World War III. This is Isaiah, the 42nd chapter, and the 9th verse. Behold, the former things are come to pass, and new things do I declare. Before they spring forth, I tell you of them. So is the Heavenly Father going to come down off his throne and tell the people what he's going to do? No, the Heavenly Father, he's a boss. He's the boss. So he's going to send his mouthpiece The prophets are out there forewarning the people what's about to get ready to occur. Judgment to America. Before that judgment come to America, it's going to be all hell broke loose in America as far as martial law, race riots. And as it says in Isaiah the 46th chapter in the 10th verse, how the Most High said that his counsel should stand, and part of his counsel or his purpose is getting all these nations together and lining them up in the Middle East, which is going to Armageddon, the mountain of troops, Armageddon. And this is Isaiah the 13th chapter in the 4th verse. The noise of a multitude in the mountains, like as of a great people, a tumultuous noise of the kingdoms of nations gathered together. And they're going to be gathered together, and that's how it's going to lead into this nuclear war. That's why these countries are building their nuclear stock, because Yahweh Shah is going to put the spirit on these different nations' leaders to go ahead and use those nuclear missiles. And they all going to shoot their nuclear missiles on America. America also is going to get their bidding in too on these different nations as well with their nuclear power. So the noise of a multitude in the mountains, like as of a great people, a tumultuous noise of the kingdoms of nations gathered together, the Lord of hosts mustered the host of the battle. So Yahweh Shah, he's going to muster the host of the battle. And after that, that's why it says that they come from a far country, from the end of heaven. And the only thing that can match up with this biblical prophecy is the nuclear missiles. And it also says in Isaiah the 13th chapter and the 5th verse, even the Lord and the weapons of his indignation to destroy the whole land. The weapons of his indignation or his righteous anger are going to those ICBMs, intercontinental ballistic missiles. Is going to destroy the whole land of America, known as Babylon the Great, according to the scriptures. So these are definitely the times that we are in. You see, the allies of America are getting more heated and stirred up. And not to mention that Trump came out with a speech earlier today, and he stated how they should have killed that general a long time ago. So we're just adding more fuel to the fire and getting these other nations, mainly as Iran, more stirred up in the spirit. And these allies of America are going to set themselves in array against America, as it says in Jeremiah the 50th chapter. So this is definitely leading to the downfall of America, and things are already getting intense at the very beginning of the year. So you can definitely expect things to get more intense throughout this whole year. So these should hate the whore, which is going into the support system, these allies of America, which is known as NATO and the EU. And with that, I hope you all were edified. Like, give all honor and glory again to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahushai, Ba'ashem, Rakakadash. Double honors again to our apostles and elders of Great Millstone. Salutations to all you sincere brothers. Shalom.